historic recall election for governor. For the past few weeks, we've had an open invitation for Governor Scott Walker and Tom Barrett to appear live on Daybreak. Last week, Walker was here, and this morning, Mayor Barrett is here.
And good morning, Mayor. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
Appreciate your time today. We're 24 hours out from the recall election, and I asked Governor Walker earlier this half hour, what is the most important thing you want to get accomplished in the next 24 hours? So I'll ask you the same thing. What do you want to get accomplished at this last 24 hours?
Well, you want to reach as many voters as possible. We were out over the weekend and had just an incredible response throughout the state of Wisconsin, and it's reminding people of the importance of voting and why it's so important to have a governor who's going to focus on creating jobs and the Civil War and really try to bring this state back together.
Now, your opponent, Governor Walker, has argued repeatedly that you do not have a plan. What is your plan?
I absolutely do have a plan. I have a plan to get this state going and create jobs working with agriculture, manufacturing, high-tech, biotech, venture capital. And I think he's saying that because he knows that under his leadership, depending on which numbers you use, there's different numbers out there. If you use the Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers, Wisconsin lost more jobs than any other state in this entire country. And if you use the numbers that Governor Walker likes to use, then we've had the worst performance in the Midwest. But either way, the reforms aren't working. And that's the problem. The people understand that the reforms aren't working. Because even using his numbers, we're dead last in the Midwest.
Well, Governor Walker has some startling numbers about the city of Milwaukee under your leadership, that taxes and fees are up 43%, unemployment up more than 26%. Are those the kind of numbers that the people of Wisconsin should look forward to
well, what's most disturbing about the way he's attacking Milwaukee is that he governed over this community for 8 years. And what he doesn't say is he doesn't say that under his watch, unemployment went up 34%, debt went up 85%, and taxes went up $40 million. But the attacks on this community are just wrong. And he says he doesn't want the state to be like Milwaukee. And my response is, well, I don't want the state to be like Texas, because he takes these contributions from billionaires in Texas and has this deer czar from Texas. I want to focus on this state. I have no desire to be the rock star of the far right and travel around the country. I'm not looking for a national stage. We have to have a governor who's going to focus on jobs here. We have to have a governor who's not embattled in this ethics inquiry or this criminal investigation that is ensnarling a lot of members of his past staff. Last week, the 13th person on his staff was granted, or associated with him, was granted immunity. So there's clearly a problem there. There's a big problem there, and he doesn't want to talk about that.
And you say we need to focus on jobs. Well, from the outside, it looks like Governor Walker is focusing on jobs. He's making jobs announcements all across the state. What would you do to actually bring jobs?
He's visiting businesses, but again, you have to look at the numbers. Using his numbers, which I disagree with, it's the worst in the entire Midwest. And he knows that he's got a problem. That's why he's doing this. He wants a visual that he's at a manufacturing plant, because the numbers are coming in and they're saying that the jobs aren't coming. I was in central Wisconsin yesterday. There was a company that had been there 112 years, Wausau Paper, an affiliate of Wausau Paper. It closed down. Go to the central city of Milwaukee, and you're going to see and people say, jobs, where are the jobs that Governor Walker created here? It's not happening. It's not happening.
But Mayor, what would you do specifically? Would you say revisit the mining bill? I mean, is there a specific proposal?
Here's where I think the disconnect occurred. He put through these corporate tax cuts, $2.3 billion that benefited corporations and the wealthiest people in the state. You have to tie those to actual job creation. You just can't throw money out there. And as the mayor, I have people come to me and businesses come to me all the time and say, we want help from the city. And my questions are always the same. My questions are, how many jobs are we talking about? And are they family supporting jobs? That disconnect exists at the state. He doesn't have that philosophy. His philosophy is, let's give the corporations money. And then he says the reforms are working. Well, if you talk to the 7-year-old woman who is now seeing her homestead tax credit capped, she doesn't think they're working. Or the kids going to colleges who are seeing their tuition and fees rising, they're saying the reforms aren't working. But I go back to, again, using his numbers, which I disagree with, but his numbers, he has the worst job creation performance in the entire Midwest, and maybe the entire nation. And I think it's because he has focused so much on being really, the poster boy for the Tea Party. And then he's got all this preoccupation with all these aides that have been charged with crimes. That's got to eat away with you, and you can just see it with the fact that he spent $160,000 on criminal defense attorneys. There's something wrong there when you're spending all that money on criminal defense attorneys, when you're raising 70% of your money from out of state. There's something fundamentally wrong there.
Another poll has been released, this time the public policy polling, showing that Walker is still in the lead, but it's tightening.
We were very pleased with that poll. Actually, that poll came out, and last week they had 7 points, and we knew that there was going to be a surge. Now it's down to 3 points, and over the weekend we had literally thousands of people out throughout the state of Wisconsin making phone calls, knocking on doors, because in his corner, he's got the millions and millions and millions of dollars. We've seen the commercials for weeks now. In my corner, I have people. I have people who are knocking on doors, and I'll take those people in Eau Claire and Wisconsin Rapids any day of the week over those millions from that billionaire in Texas.
Well, that poll has a reputation for being Democratic leaning, so just want to make sure people realize that. But I have a quick question for you about the Civil War, because you did say it again today, and you've said it constantly throughout the campaign. Obviously, this is a divided state, and so you are offering another alternative. However, are you not also then dividing the state on the other side? How do you mesh those together?
Just the contrary, and a lot of it is how you act and how you treat people. Again, if you look back 2 years, this was not the most divided state in the country. And I think we all agree right now it's politically the most divided state in the country. It doesn't have to be that. When I became mayor 8 years ago, that was a divided city at the time. And I literally reached out to people who didn't support me because I wanted to be the mayor of the entire city. I didn't want to punish my enemies. I wanted to bring people together. That's the fundamental difference. I don't believe in divide and conquer. He himself said that's the strategy he uses to try to pit people against each other.
Okay, Mayor Tom Barrett, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Good to be here. Thank you very much.